In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.
NFL football is back. So did you spend a lot of the day yesterday just maybe lazing on the couch? Well, you'd be perfect for this competition. However, this competition's been going on for a while now.
So it's a village in northern Montenegro, which holds a very bizarre contest every year where you can compete to earn the coveted title of laziest citizen. The winner gets about $1,000. And they've been doing this for 12 years now. It started out as a way to mock this myth that people from Montenegro are lazy. So this year, there are 7 contestants remaining after 20 days. And these people, and it's not just sitting around being lazy. These people are lying around and can't even sit up.
Yeah, they've already smashed last year's record of 117 hours. Now, they can play on their phones and laptops. They can eat, drink, and read. Basically, they have everything they need to do, which is nothing for them.
But you're not allowed to sit or stand up. They do get 10-minute bathroom breaks, but only once every 8 hours. So hopefully you're not drinking too much.
You better have a good bladder then in this case, right? So last we heard they'd made it through 23 days with no end in sight. I mean, as good as this sounds, I mean, you go through a procedure and then you find out real fast how much you think. When I had my foot surgery last August, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was hobbled and off my feet for over a week. And then even coming back to work, pretty hobbled. I don't know if I could do that day after day voluntarily. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, it'd be tough. And I was thinking for me, I'd be out pretty quick because I do sleepwalk sometimes. So I'd be out because I'd stand up involuntarily at night. My body would be like, you need to move.
So what if you were falling asleep, right, on your mat and you suddenly sat up? You're out.
You're out.
Hey, this is something that is really just such an amazing moment. And the look on this mom's face when it happens is everything.
This video is making the rounds of this nonverbal child who has autism who talked to his mom for the very first time.
Hey, good morning. Are you sick? Good morning. Good morning.
It's such an amazing moment because you can hear her go like this, right? Mm-hmm. And then he says it again, like, "Hey, didn't you hear me the first time? Mom, I said good morning." What an amazing moment. We've got several law and disorder stories to share for you this morning. This first one involves an animal.
Yeah, this could be an animal story, but the identity of a mystery thief responsible for eating $3,800 worth of plants from a nursery in Australia was found. It was a koala. This nursery said staff first noticed that plants went missing a few months ago. They initially thought maybe some escaped goats nearby or local possums were behind the thefts, but they finally solved the mystery when the workers arrived one morning to find the thief. A koala had overeaten and had gorged himself and passed out in the middle of the food. Now the funny thing,
we've all been there.
The funny thing is that this nursery, many of the seedlings the koala ate, are actually being grown and were destined to be koala food and then be planted to feed other animals.
So he was just skipping a few steps, right?
Yeah, he just,
going to the source.
Exactly. I don't blame him. So
instead of going to the store, he went to the farm.
The koala, which they named Claude, they wrapped him up in a towel, moved him to a nearby tree, and then they just said that they're going to install some better fencing to protect the plants in the future.
A man in Florida is facing federal charges because the U.S. Coast Guard caught him about 70 miles off the coast of Georgia in a homemade hydropod. It's kind of like one of those giant hamster wheels. I've probably seen these before.
A human hamster wheel? Really?
Mm-hmm. So the guy is a marathon runner who was trying to, quote, run to London, England. When the Coast Guard found him, he wasn't exactly calm about the situation, refused to leave the vessel for 3 days. They said they were cutting short his unsafe voyage for his own safety, right? Worried that they would end up getting a call from him in the middle of the ocean. Well, he claimed to have a bomb on board, which turned out to be fake. This isn't the first time he's been caught in the hamster wheel. He was apprehended at least 3 previous times, including 2 years ago when he was trying to go from Florida to New York. That time he made it about 25 miles before, the whole thing washed ashore. In the past, he said he will never give up. So
the fact that he was threatening to hurt himself and claiming to have a bomb on board, dude, I don't think your mental health is in the best spot.
Maybe you should not be in a hamster wheel.
No. And finally, cops in Nebraska have released the audio of a guy who ended up calling 911 on himself. He was like, someone's driving. the wrong direction down a highway. Turns out it was him.
I'm on Highway 77 going north, and there's somebody that is on the wrong side of the road. He had his brights on, man. He almost ran me off the road.
Yeah, do you know why I stopped you?
Yeah, because I was on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
Were you the one that called in?
Yep.
You were?
Yeah, because I thought somebody was on the wrong side of the road, bro.
But it turned out it was you.
Yep.
Wow. So, I mean, at least they got a drunk driver off the road. He got himself off the road.
Because alcohol was a factor in this situation.
Wow. Interesting story that just came out. If you are someone that suffers with, getting stuffed up a lot, well, in the U.S., the number one decongestant apparently doesn't work.
An advisory panel for the FDA just announced that yesterday. It's called phenylephrine. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but it's in a ton of cold medicines, including Dayquil, Mucinex, Cinex nasal spray, Tylenol cold and flu, Benadryl Allergy Plus, certain types of Robitussin. And all 16 committee members agreed that it's not dangerous, but there is actually no real proof that it helps you when you're stuffed up and congested.
So they think it should be pulled from shelves. They said, quote, "We should not have products on the market that are not effective." So the FDA said they are going to take this into consideration. If they agree, drug companies would have to remove those decongestants and then reformulate those products.
And if you're wondering, well, how did this drug come out? Well, it was first approved in the 70s, but drug companies didn't use it a ton until 2005 because a different decongestant that is actually effective, pseudoephedrine, was restricted because of meth. You can actually take part of it, and if you get enough of the pills, I don't know, you can somehow, I don't know. I'm not a part of Breaking Bad. I don't know how you boil it down in the RV to get the drugs.
But the problem was you were having people going into drugstores and then buying them off the shelves by the basketful.
Or stealing it.
Or straight up stealing it too, right? So the one the FDA panel ruled on yesterday, they say has never been proven to work. Back in 2007, a different panel only said it might be effective, but patients and doctors have been saying for years that it just doesn't do much.
And I mean, I don't know about you, but my allergies have been peaking the last couple of weeks here, and I've been taking
all summer.
I've been taking my allergy meds like crazy. I'll have it a little bit in the spring, but it always seems to be worse in the fall now for me.
Never had allergies like this until I moved to CK, but I mean, we've got a lot of pollen.
Welcome to Chatham, Kent.
Well, I mean, the bonus of having, not as heavy of a winter, maybe a full spring, is you're going to get that pollen. By the way, the various cold medicines, it's generated almost $1.8 billion in sales last year alone. I mean, if you're ever sick, now granted, we did go through the shortages where you'd go in the aisle and wow, there wasn't kids Tylenol, there wasn't even stuff for adults. But generally, when you go in any cold aisle, it's overwhelming because there's so many things. What do you pick? It does this, it does that. It's, if you have an ingrown toenail, somehow it can fix that. I mean, and there's so many products. There's your answer. $1.8 billion. Last night, her sister had come over for a bit, and then they were trying to sit in the backyard, and then ended up coming back in. And I was like, oh, that was quick. And they're like, the mosquitoes are insane.
Okay, it is Revenge of the Mosquitoes right now. That's what I've been calling it. Because I feel like the mosquitoes have not been that bad all this summer. And then, I don't know, has it been perfect weather conditions the last couple of weeks, and now they've all spawned new mosquito babies and they're out attacking us at every move?
Maybe too much standing water from the various storms we've had, right, over the last month, too.
There was a lot of rain, especially Tilbury Way. Remember they got flooded a few weeks ago?
Actually, somebody posted online that they live, I don't think in Chatham, Kent, but in southern Ontario somewhere, and they said that they go outside a lot. So they said they just started kind of doing a mental check about, okay, are you able to sit out now outside and there's no bugs? He said this is the latest he's seen heavy amounts of mosquitoes.
That's what I said. It is Revenge of the Mosquitoes. They were like, haha, we couldn't be around all summer, but too late, we're back.
Would you say you're a rock star at work? Do you hit the ground running, work hard, play hard, and thrive in a fast-paced environment? Sounds like a job posting these days, doesn't it?
That's just some of those corporate buzzwords that if you work in, a typical office or you have to attend meetings for your job, you probably hear a lot of. The most common one might be win-win, but we have a list of some of the most annoying buzzwords, and it does include some of the more newer ones.
I mean, you don't even have to work in an office to have heard these. I mean, you could be working on a farm and maybe you've had a really good yield, and then you're like, well, we're bringing a really good crop to market and we get some money, so it's a win-win, right? So you might not be just working in an office and hearing these, like new normal.
I've heard that when I've been out grocery shopping and doing stuff. Oh, it's the new normal now.
A lot since the pandemic,
yes,
I think.
Exactly. Culture. The phrase culture. Oh, it doesn't fit our corporate culture.
Circle back.
Oh my gosh. That's the go-to now for when you ask a question and they don't have the answer.
Well, let's circle back to that one. Boots on the ground is another one that's being used.
Yeah, because maybe cold calling people isn't working, so you got to get boots on the ground. This one you hear in sports a lot. Give 110%.
We actually had someone say that to us once at a slow pitch game. Do you remember that years ago? Oh, maybe you missed that game. So we were getting demolished in that game. It was a younger team, and we had our veteran lineup in, and they were just all in shape, and they were doing really well. One guy had black under his eyes, the whole thing. And so they were just knocking us around. And so at one point I said to him, man, you guys are really hitting the ball well. And he goes, yeah, I think we're all really seeing the ball really well. And, we're all out there. We're giving 100%. And I said to somebody after, I don't have a microphone in my hand. I'm not. This isn't Sports Center.
Did he know you work at the radio station?
Maybe.
He thought you were interviewing him about this?
So other corporate phrases that people say they dislike, by the way, 85% of workers say they hear annoying terms at least once a week. Low-hanging fruit. That's another one. How about win-win? Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
Move the needle.
Ugh.
Got to move the needle on that.
This one I haven't heard, but apparently growth hacking.
That's a newer term, apparently. So they say it's a cheap and easy way to expand your business or gain exposure is growth hacking. So trying to find other ways to bring in business.
And this one I've heard a lot. We need to think outside the box.
So they also looked at least annoying buzzword terms. They include at the end of the day, also let's table it, and that's a game changer. Although I would add, those are all annoying. I don't know. I want to hear any of those either.
If you hear any phrase incessantly in a meeting, it's going to become annoying.
I was once in a meeting and they were talking about silos, and this was like right around the time we were coming out of the pandemic. We've all been sort of in our individual silos, and we need to break away. And I remember silos. What are you talking about? So I was in a meeting years ago, and it was like a conference over a couple of days. And so we'd gone out the night before, a bunch of us, and we talked about things like this, buzzwords. So we came up with the phrase that we were going to bring into the meeting, and we had to work it into conversations nugget. Mining that nugget, finding that nugget in that pile.
You're like, we're looking for those nuggets of gold.
So half the room knew, half the room didn't. So I could see some people looking around like, why are these fools? So why do they keep talking?
Were you tracking too? Whoever said nugget the most got points or something?
With our eyes. Yeah, we certainly knew who was doing it. So got the dog out for a little run yesterday. Wasn't going to at first because I got up and I got ready, and then I was like, do I really want to go out? And she saw that I put my running gear on. She got all excited. She ran to the door. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll go. So went out and did that, got home, jumped in the shower, got out of the shower, and right on the wall across from the shower was a big fat spider. Right there on the wall.
Lovely.
I was going to smack him, and then I heard my grandson's voice in my head because he saved a spider in the pool. Don't kill him, Grandpa, save him. And I'm like, okay. So I looked around in the bathroom for something I could use after I toweled off and got dressed. And I found a bottle of Tums, and there was only one left in the bottle. So I took it out, and I got up to the wall and popped him inside the bottle.
Scooped him in the Tums.
Mm-hmm. So then I was doing some other stuff, and I'm like, oh, wait, he's in the Tum bottle. I almost forgot he was in there. So I went and released him outside. He was all covered in Tum dust.
Well, at least we know he's not going to have heartburn anytime soon.
That's exactly what my wife said. She goes, well, I guess he won't be too stressed out then about being stuck in that bottle.
So the other day I was at my sister and brother-in-law's, and my nephew saw this huge spider had made this massive web, and we had to go out and watch it because it was in the process of spinning the web. So it had got it all set up and was going around in circles. It was mesmerizing to watch. Mm-hmm. There's cool.
A big one near the slide on our pool because we haven't been using the pool. Obviously, it's 7 degrees. And yeah, it's pretty fascinating to watch that kind of stuff.
Well, and we're like, don't disturb it because he catches mosquitoes. We want them to do that.
Right. So I released this guy outside, and he seemed okay, although covered in the dust from the Tums. And he ran under the deck, and I was like, okay, you go live your life now, and hopefully the other spiders don't make fun of him because he looks a little different. But so who am I? Because normally I would just have squished that thing, and I'm like, karma, life, you better give me something good.
All I can think about with the Tums dust is like he had done a color run.
We've got Animals Gone Wild stories about sea lions, also alligators, and a three-legged bear.
There is a beach in San Diego called La Jolla Cove. Tourists go there so they can look at sea lions. But recently, the sea lions have got a little fed up, and they've started chasing them away, and it's gotten so bad that a lifeguard issued a warning.
Everybody, please give that large male sea lion plenty of room. They have good people, and they are protected animals.
You know what the best part of that? The announcement, he's just very Californian. You notice that? He was just like, they bit people, so...
He's so just like, please stay away from the sea lions. I can't believe I have to make this announcement. They're wild animals. They will bite you.
Well, you know what? I just saw a video yesterday that was released at Yellowstone. A bunch of tourists running, including one with a young child in their arms, towards a grizzly bear and her two cubs to try and get photos. And then luckily for them, the mom had turned right as they were starting to run. And so she kind of wandered off. And then the babies were just like, oh, mom's leaving. So they followed. And Yellowstone just put out another warning saying that could have been deadly. Hey, heavy rain that started over the weekend in China actually triggered landslides in some areas. But for other people, they have an entirely different problem brought about by the rain. Dozens of Siamese crocodiles popping up in the floodwaters have escaped from a local farm. So citizens have been advised to stay inside and away from any water due to the croc invasion. 69 adults and 6 juveniles reported to have floated away from their home at a nearby freshwater base. So the crocs are floating around in all these floodwaters now.
Yeah, you're just trying to go out for a walk. And, oh, look, there's a crocodile.
No, time to stay inside and stream some Netflix.
And finally, if you were listening when Dave teased this bit, he said a three-legged bear. Yes, a three-legged bear broke into a family's home in Florida and stole a couple of White Claw drinks from the fridge.
Oh my God. I've never been this close to a bear. Oh, look, he just opened the door. He's about to take the beer. He went over here to the fridge and got 2 White Claws. Once I saw him open the fridge, I got scared that he could open the doors to like the houses.
A three-legged bear.
Yeah,
this has to be like an escaped pet or something, right?
I have questions about his taste. I mean, he was drinking White Claw, so...
I mean, it's like water.
So I guess you're just like, oh, well, this is for the taking. If no one's going to have this, I guess I'll have a couple. Gatorade has announced a new product, and it's not a neon-colored thirst quencher. It isn't an energy drink, and it isn't a protein shake. It's water.
The product is called Gatorade Water, and this isn't a joke. They're actually trying to tap into what they call the growing functional water category. It's enhanced or fortified for additional health benefits, or so they say. Gatorade claims that their water is an electrolyte-infused, unflavored alkaline water that is filtered with a 7-step process, so it contains enhanced pH levels.
Do you remember water bottles when you were a kid? I don't remember plastic water bottles. I don't remember water being in even just your own reusable water bottle, unless you're maybe playing sports. And even then, there'd be like 4 on the bench and everybody be sharing.
I remember having like... they'd have like a carrying thing and there'd be like 6 water bottles in it. And that was it.
Right. And everyone shared
Everyone,
that same
you just,
one.
well, because you'd like hold it up and squirt it into your mouth. But I don't know.
Otherwise, you were lining up right at the fountain.
We're lining up at the fountain, or you're drinking it out of the hose so you didn't have to go back in the house in the summer. Now, this isn't a new thing. There's other brands out there that have these sort of enhanced waters like Smart Water. And Gatorade is hoping to bring this mainstream, though, because of the credibility behind their name.
So it just might be expensive water, but Gatorade water will hit shelves sometime early next year.
Introducing Gatorade Water.
You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.